Bruce tries to recover from his ordeal at the hands of the Court of Owls. However, the court attack him at his own home. Bruce fights them off as they invade from all angles, even the Batcave. After taking down a Talon, Bruce and Alfred head to the armory. They learn that the Talons have been sent to kill every important public face in Gotham. Alfred calls on the Bat family to help prevent this, whilst Bruce fights the Talons. The battle continues with Bruce's bat armor being broken into by the Talons, as Alfred lowers the temperature in the room. Batman, however, prevails as he defeats the Talons. He then heads out in order to save Jeremiah Arkham and Lincoln March. He finds Lincoln March dying, revealing he has a message for Bruce Wayne. He then goes to confront Miss Powers. She is a part of the Court of Owls. Batman then deduces the location of one of the Court of Owls. The morning after, Bruce ponders the Court of Owls' death, whilst Alfred attempts to help Bruce change into a suit. Bruce then realizes that Lincoln March isn't who he says he is. He then runs off to go find him. However, Lincoln March, who he says he is, and may have a secret identity himself. What will Batman learn, and can he defeat this new threat? In the backup features, we see Jarvis Pennyworth, Alfred's father, writing to his son. He warns Alfred of a darkness that looms over Wayne Manor. He also warns Alfred to stay away from Wayne Manor. Jarvis in this story is then killed by a Talon who has been hunting him. We also see Harper Row, a young teenager living in the Narrows. She also works for a power grid company, which is going through changes due to Bruce Wayne's plans for the city. Harper Row comes into contact with Batman after he saves her and her brother. Finally, in the Batman Annual, the story focuses on Mr. Freeze, who had helped the Court of Owls test a new perfect formula that Mr. Freeze hoped would save his wife. After escaping Arkham, Freeze breaks into Wayne Industries, but Batman arrives to take him down. Part 2 of Court of Owls sees Batman continuing his fight with the Talons and their court. We get some really, really interesting stuff happening in this main story, and also with the tie-ins. But I just wanted to touch on the tie-ins just briefly. DC turned the Night of Owls as to an event. And unlike Death of the Family, which comes after Night of Owls, this event worked. The event really, really works together, and it's a lot more easier to follow than Death of the Family is. And also, you don't necessarily need the tie-ins for Night of Owls. You can read Volume 2 of Batman completely separate from that stuff. But a lot of the Night of Owls tie-ins do add a lot of mythology to the Court of Owls story. This story is less interesting than what happened in Court of Owls. It's definitely Batman going after It's mostly the Batman going after the Court of Owls, and it has less of that mythology build-up. Sorry for the background noise. It has less of that mythology to the story. But what was interesting in this issue is we get an owl man. Now, obviously, if you've read like Forever Evil, or you've read one of the Crisis events, you may know what the name of Owlman means. But for those of you who don't, Owlman is basically a version of Batman from Earth 3. What's interesting, and why I'm bringing up the Owlman, is because this Owlman is in the Earth 3 Owlman. This version of Owlman is a completely separate entity. And after Forever Evil, Owlman, to my knowledge, is still in this, on this Earth. So it's really interesting, to sort of have like two Owlmans running around. But back to the matter at hand. Owlman is kind of like, is one of the Talons. Or that's the impression that I got. And the identity of this person has a huge connection with the Wayne family. And I find this Owlman really, really interesting for a variety of different reasons. First off, there is the connection to the Wayne family, and this connection leaves us with a lot of very interesting questions about the Wayne family, and just sort of the differences between Owlman and Batman. And I got very interested in that. The only problem with this volume and the tie-ins is, unlike with the tie-ins, what the tie-ins did is the tie-ins essentially explained what happened after the Court of Owls sent their Talons into Gotham. This volume doesn't cover that at all. And although it sees Batman still struggling against the Court of Owls, we don't learn what the Court of Owls was trying to gain by taking over Gotham. And I think that is slightly a subplot that kind of was left out in the open. And the Court of Owls could definitely return in some capacity. And I really, really hope they do return in some capacity, because I do really, really like the Court of Owls. It's just this story sort of... And we also have a character called Harper Row, who is introduced in this story. And Harper Row was a really interesting character. She's basically this electrician type character who likes to fix things. And she's definitely going to become an important character later on. And I just really like how she was set up in this series. Finally, we get to Mr. the Annual and the New Freeze, as I like to call it. Mr. Freeze in this story, I felt wasn't as good as it could have been. First off, I would just like to point out that my only exposure to Mr. Freeze was the Batman animated series and the movie. I've never read a proper story with Mr. Freeze as the main character. And my only real introduction to Mr. Freeze is again the animated series and the Arkham games. But I didn't like Freeze's new origins to this story. For some reason, they revised the origins of the character. And I get that the New 52 is is reintroducing these characters. But I just didn't like the new revised origins of Mr. Freeze. I thought the story, and I thought what they did with the character wasn't very good and just didn't interest me. All in all, this is a good ending to the Court of Owls story. Although I think there are certain elements that could have been made maybe a bit more stronger. But I am giving this story a 4 out of 5. It was a very, very good story, and it's worth picking up. I think The Court of Owls was one of the best stories in Zack Snyder's run. And I really like the mythology that Zack Snyder puts into this story. And The Court of Owls is just my favourite group of villains. So I'm Robinats1 here, and if you liked my review, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave any comments about the review or about this story. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and stay tuned for more Batman reviews. I'm Robinats1 here, and I shall see you all later for another comic book review. Bye.